Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Think Business. Looking forward to talking with Quinn Osha. Osha, right? Did I get that right, Quinn?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay. Quinn, it's good to connect with you. One of the things I love about podcasting is I'm a business coach. I work with successful people who are stuck and I get them unstuck. And my guests are always giving tips to get people unstuck. So it's very in alignment with how I do business and grow my business. You're the founder of Topmarq, an innovative platform allowing people to get the best possible price for their used car. I mean, perfect timing. This is it is so hard to get a car today, whether it's used or new. Tell me a little bit about kind of where the idea came from.
Sure. So, first off, thanks for having me.
Thanks for
Excited
being
to be
here.
here. And I think so. I've always been a car nut, kind of was the de facto person everybody in my family would go to, whenever they needed to buy or sell a car. Eventually, that sort of started growing to beyond just my personal circle. And so I started helping sort of, friends of friends and then people I didn't really know help, buy and sell cars. And more recently, since this sort of digitalization, transformation of the automotive industry, I was spending a lot of time on these websites offering offers for people's vehicles, just trying to get an understanding of the industry. And after I did that enough times for enough people, I realized like this exists in almost every other industry. If I want to book flights, I can compare flights. If I want to buy insurance, I can compare insurance. And so this really just iterated out of a process that I was doing and something I found that other people would really appreciate as well.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about kind of turning something that's easy to you and your passion into a business. I think a lot of times people are looking for something and they don't know what they're looking for, but sometimes it's hidden in plain sight. And in this case, it sounds like it was. And so how did you kind of bridge the doing it for everybody and realizing, wait, I can actually monetize something that comes very easily to me?
Yeah, I think so. It's been an interesting journey for us in terms of the monetization mechanism because it is slightly different than some of the others. But probably one of the hardest things for me was when I tell people this concept, I almost always get hit with like, that's just so simple or that doesn't exist yet. And so it was almost like I had to check myself and say like, okay, wait, is this like really just sort of a streamlined, like nonsense idea? Is this really worth doing? And ultimately the way we sort of drove past that is talk to enough people, right? Like if you ask enough people if they would use this and generally they were quite positive, I started to get an inkling that, okay, this is something that would catch on and people would use. And then the next aspect was just sort of making money off of it, which is, you got to run the business. And that involved also talking to people just on the dealer side. So the way we monetize is by basically giving dealers the opportunity to bid on these vehicles. And sort of same process there, go talk to them and see what their problems are. And ultimately we were able to decide that, this is a legitimate problem for them as well.
Yeah.
And we can, make money by being a market maker.
Yeah. And I love what you're talking about as far as it's so simple. It's almost complicated, right? And so it almost makes you pause. And I think as a business coach, I'm always working with my clients, whether it's a solopreneur or a fortune company or anything in between, to get to simple, right? Not to overcomplicate things. And so how did you get it to simple?
To be honest, I think I sort of stumbled upon it. My thinking has always probably been try to do something simple because I knew as a first-time founder, I wasn't going to go raise $5 million to really build out a team to do something like extremely complicated out of the gate. And so it was really just sort of the problems I was looking for sort of fit into that genre. But I think ultimately, I think there's arguments to be made that like companies are successful basically based on the idea, the market, and the timing. And I think in this space, like 5 years ago, this idea would have been simple but impossible. Yeah. And the timing today with the automotive industry, it lags the rest of sort of the market, like e-commerce and stuff like that. And it only recently has gone online. So we're just leveraging timing more so than anything else.
Yeah, let's talk about that. And I agree with you, idea, market, and timing. And so let's talk about that. So what your website does is it really compares online and local dealer offers side by side so people can make decisions. What I like about it is I think making a decision is very hard for people. Getting this type of content can be challenging for people. And so just talk a little bit about the process on how it how people get the information, how it feeds you the information, and then how people can make decisions.
Sure. So I think most consumers these days can sort of associate with the feeling of not wanting to go to a dealership and be harassed by salespeople. And so a lot of things have been transitioning in this industry to try to help solve that problem. On the same token, those dealers still want to buy your vehicle. And so we give them the ability to submit their offers remotely through our backend system for your vehicle or somebody you know's vehicle purely online, so that then you get much more transparency. The problem is today, there's only 5 or 6 big online companies that will do this sort of automatically. But there's 30,000 dealerships across the United States who would also submit offers. They just don't have access to you. Yeah. So we provide one simple form. You go in, answer information about your vehicle, age, current condition, stuff like that. And then we extract those offers, and then you can choose which dealership you want to sell to. It may be the highest paying dealer, or it may be the one that you then want to go buy another car from and get tax credits and whatnot. So we really just give you the ability to choose your own way.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. I love it. And what's been the best part about starting this business?
Learning how little I know. It feels like it's just constantly day to day. It's like, man, no matter how much you read it in books, no matter how much you think you know something, it's you really don't until you have to apply it or solve some problem with it. And I find that incredibly fun. It's definitely hard and you have to stay motivated, but one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, I love that. I think a lot of people, there's so many different studies that point to so many different stats. The Gen Zs, I read a recent stat that 85% of Gen Zs when they graduate college want to start their own business. And the millennials have a high percentage of that as well. And I think people who are seasoned in business who are getting to a point where they think, oh, you know what? I want to start my own business. What is the biggest lesson you learned that you can share with somebody about, starting yours?
Start small and talk to customers.
Yeah.
And this goes back to, it's so easy to say, it's so difficult to follow. I was literally just reminiscing on the fact that, I heard that a bunch before I started my company, and I still made mistakes contrary to that. I spent too much money on certain things that didn't make sense, and I didn't spend enough time talking to certain customers. But definitely if I've got, high level, that's what I would do. And you can almost build an audience and build a customer base before you have any product. You don't necessarily need to make money from them, but have relationships with them and know exactly who you're going to sell to and how.
Yeah, I love that. That is well said. It amazes me sometimes how many people sit in a boardroom and they don't talk to their customers, so they're making decisions based on data points, but they haven't talked to any customers. Sam Walton of Walmart used to leave the boardroom where they would give him all the numbers because he realized everyone in the boardroom wasn't a customer of Walmart. So he would go down to the diner and have coffee and pie with his customers, and they come back to the boardroom and only use the data that made sense to the customers. So that's cool. That's a great point. All right, quick speed round. You ready?
Sure.
All right. Book that's had the biggest impact on you, Quinn.
Oh man. Good to Great.
That's a great one. Jim Collins. It is a great one. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received.
Progress, not perfection.
Good one. And finish the sentence. One thing every entrepreneur needs to be thinking more of is
sales.
Amen to that. Tell people how they can connect with you and who your ideal clients are, Quinn.
I'm on LinkedIn as Quinn Osha, Topmarq.com if you want to sell your car. Our customers, or pretty much anybody that's selling a car, can use the platform. The people we actually B2B sales are any types of used car dealers.
It's great. I loved all the things that you shared today. You know, Think Community, we talk about, you know, getting unstuck. And as a business coach, I work with successful people who are stuck and get them unstuck. And one of the things that I think really resonated with me, that I think will resonate with the Think Community, Quinn, is how you talked about just, you know, getting to simple. And I think sometimes people overcomplicate things. And I see that a lot with clients that I work with all over the world. You know, they just need to simplify. So I think that is a big takeaway for me, and I appreciate your thoughts today. Think Community, if Quinn can help you, please reach out to him. I know it's hard to, you know, find a car, sell a car, used, new, etc. So if Quinn can help you, please reach out. Quinn, appreciate you being on the show. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.